Charlemagne the God is spiraling. Breakfast Club is looking bad.
Because they organize it like how the podcast.
I would have just licensed it like they do Seinfeld or Friends or whatever. I would be like, yo, give us your whole back catalog and we're going to give you a licensing fee for the length of the contract here. And it can also be on YouTube, but I just want you guys to get into the flow of always coming to Netflix to watch your Breakfast Club stuff.
Well,
that's what I would have done.
I don't want to say too much because I have ideas. And the last time I had an idea, which I knew was going to happen, like I knew YouTube was going. I knew, and I said there's a brilliant ideas episode where I was like, you know what, I'm not going to say this because I don't want to give them no ideas. I knew they were going to suppress the content that went over to Netflix. It just makes sense.
What you mean?
They suppressed the content, like the content that's still, because we still put clips up on YouTube.
Oh, but they're not letting it get love
at all. No, and why would you?
But there must be some sort of like. What is the government body that regulates content on the airwaves? FTC?
Man, get the
FCC.
Who they don't give a f.
There should be some FCC, like if you're unfairly throttling content, like that's...
But they've been doing that. They can do that anyway. And by the way, they're not regulated by the FCC. What are we talking about? YouTube's never been regulated by the FCC. When you do these think pieces with no thought, and you say that the Breakfast Club is losing viewership because we're no longer on YouTube. Let's have intellectually honest conversations. If you say, because everybody saw the clip of Just Hilarious this week. If you say that people are upset we're no longer on YouTube, that's very accurate. There are people that are upset that we're no longer on YouTube.
Yeah, they have to go through one more thing to watch the show. Yeah. There's an inconvenience to it.
Change is hard for people. I get it. You know what I mean? So there are people who are upset.
They're like engaging in the comment section. They're like feeling like they're part of the conversation, for sure.
But when you say things like Breakfast Club is losing viewership, you cannot
How would they know that?
You can't have that conversation if you don't know what our viewership on Netflix is. I need people to be smarter. That's why I salute to my guy Art. I was talking to Art and I saw Art do a video, but it's like I told Art the same thing. It's like when these people have these conversations about Breakfast Club losing viewership, you got to say, well, what are they doing on Netflix?
What's up? Where's your boy Charles Brown back again talking fact. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit notification bell. Keep sending those cash outs to CLBMG. Join that membership and all you buying that merch down below. Gang, listen, before we get started, go down in my link, in my description. Hit that Temu link. Show your boy some love. Support the channel. Charlemagne the God is coming up with a million excuses or a myriad of excuses about this situation with the Breakfast Club going over to Netflix. I told you there's a whole lot of theories, and my theory is they had no choice. I think a lot of people are caught up in the fact that Charlemagne is used to controlling his destiny, but this time, gang, I think it's very special because I think Charlemagne didn't have as much choice as you think. I think iHeartMedia sold every single one of those properties there was no negotiation about you're not going. I 100% believe they all were forced to go to Netflix. And I watched believe it or not, Tasha K, and she said something interesting that they may have only taken the Breakfast Club because it was an urban show and most of the shows were white and they didn't want to get accused of not bringing over any black or urban shows, and that is very plausible as well. I'm just going to be honest. So the end of the day, what Charlemagne is doing, he's trying to get that message out. He's been trying for a few weeks to get the word out, to calm the natives and smooth things over because it's looking bad out here. So let's start at the start. Breakfast Club as an entity on YouTube has been around about between 13, 15 years, something like that, give or take. I'm somewhere in the ballpark. But at the end of the day, the Breakfast Club looks like they have 6 million subscribers, dog. So we're talking about an entity that has built up an extremely large brand, and they got paid accordingly. Allegedly, it was around $200 million for the entity, but the only problem is that entity was built around a free platform. It was built on YouTube. It was built on the backs of a lot of people that wanted to see a free program on a platform that they can access easily, that is very simple to navigate, and the software is user friendly, right? Well, Netflix is not user friendly. Netflix is very touchy. The screen only goes sideways. You can't watch it upside. You can't watch it up and down. It's a lot of things going on. You don't see suggestions when you're watching a show. There's a lot of things that YouTube does that Netflix does not, and I'm sure they will probably incorporate those things as the years go on. They're gonna have to, because right now Netflix is very rigid. It's a rigid software, and it doesn't make you flow easily when you try to watch stuff. So this podcast stuff, when you watch podcasts, you want to be able to bounce from one to the other. You want to get recommendations, and a lot of that stuff don't happen on Netflix. I'm gonna be honest. Netflix is usually recommending you stuff you already seen or movies and shows. I don't know how it's going to adapt to the podcast as well. It's going to be difficult. But I told you, the Netflix owner one day on a whim decided, let's throw some podcasts on this bitch. So end of the day, now they just on a whim, they want to do podcasts. And when you got that kind of money, you can pretty much do anything. So he decided one day he wanted to have podcasts and voila, right? Wifey told me, said, stop saying voila. Okay, voila. I get it. It was tongue in cheek. I know it's voila, but I like saying voila. I think it's funny. But end of the day, right? He all of a sudden manifests some of the biggest podcasts on earth, bigger than a lot of those podcasts. The ones that they got that they really wanted are bigger than the Breakfast Club. Okay, so Breakfast Club not per se a podcast; it's a radio show that is in syndication that just so happens to have put their thing on YouTube and grew a following that way. So it's not really a podcast. Okay, the other ones you could say. You maybe could say Joe and Jada is a podcast per se. That's more of a traditional podcast. And you could say Rory and Mal is more of a traditional podcast. But Breakfast Club is not really a traditional podcast. They don't sit around and talk about things in a certain kind of way that's just me and you. No, they talk like they're talking to a wide array of people. And it is built on the comments, right? Joe and Jada show 100% is not built around the comments, okay? Has nothing to do. They sit there and do that shit. I don't even know if these dudes even check the comments. I'm gonna be honest. They may a little bit. I think the only time Jada check the comments is when he's right there and he be scrolling when he's looking at his phone on the show. That's the only time he really probably think about the comments. Other than that, I don't think this show is built around comments, but the Breakfast Club is, because you hear them commenting about the comments every day. Will they be saying this? They say that. Da, da, da. Half of the banter with these guys is about the comments. Oh, Lauren got a boyfriend. Da, da, da. They know you, Lauren. Da, da, da. So most of their content is based around connecting with their audience. Right now, the audience is real pissed. Out of them 6 million people, you need a lot of them to go over to Netflix and start watching. So we're seeing that the audience in those comments that are popping up with these clips, because they can't put up no real clips. They got to do this. It appears they can't do more than 4 minutes ish. It got to be 2, 3, or 4 minutes. Can't do no more than that. And they got to keep it real short and simple. And the people aren't jacking it. Now, some of these clips may do 20,000. 30,000. It may do some of that, but a lot of these clips doing 2,000, 3,000. And with the Breakfast Club, they're used to 100, 150, 250,000. Some of those interviews will do 1 million. So end of the day, we're talking about a severe drop off in content, people consuming the content. And that is what they were brought to Netflix for. Now, Netflix is not, this not going to be a short-term thing. They're trying to give it some time and see if it builds. But rest assured, if it don't start clicking like it's supposed to, they will execute that whole thing and be like, well, we tried it, boom, now you send your ass back to YouTube. But it's going to be difficult to build that trust back up, because people feel betrayed. They feel like, yo, you just abruptly snatched the show up. I think they announced that this thing was going. I want to say they talked about it in October. And I think in December, everything was like, okay, this is what it's going to be come like January or something like that. I don't know what it was, but end of the day, they kind of threw this on people and snatched the show away from people who were some of these people have been watching this thing since the very beginning. 10, 12, whatever, how many years it is. They've been watching the Breakfast Club every single day. Right? And they enjoy the content. They enjoy the interviews. A lot of these people ain't paying for it. Not a lot of these people ain't paying for Netflix. I know Charlemagne wants to tell us that everybody got Netflix. Oh, you're watching America's next top model documentary. Well, guess what? That show comes and goes. It ain't every day. It ain't every morning. That's not a show people have with their coffee. People come home, they get undressed, they take a bath or whatever, and then they go slip their shit on, their pajamas on. Then they watch that. By the time you do that with Breakfast Club, the shit already old. All the news on there is old. By the time the Breakfast Club comes on in the morning, by the middle of the day, half the shit they done said is old. So you can't slip into no bubble bath at 8 o'clock at night and then try to watch the Breakfast Club. It's too late, right? Now some of the interviews, yeah, they're going to last. They're going to be there. Like, okay, I can get to that a couple days later. I can get to Juvenile and the Hot Boys later. Da da da. But at the end of the day, most of this stuff is time sensitive. So when you're not living up to what people expected, and this is what they followed you for, they're angry. People in the comments cussing their ass out. Right? And a lot of those people, I know they think that a lot of those people are going to go over there to Netflix because they already got it. Well, a lot of those people sharing passwords. A lot of those people ain't got their own Netflix account. And a lot of people got other stuff they can just watch on YouTube. There's too much stuff on YouTube similar or better than the Breakfast Club for you to chase the Breakfast Club over to Netflix. But Charlemagne is banking that you will, because he got a lot of money on the line. End of the day, he's spiraling, because now he's telling people, listen, If you don't know the numbers on Breakfast Club, stop saying that we're failing. End of the day, we're seeing you fail on YouTube. That's what people are reacting to. We don't know if the Netflix deal gonna work or not, but we're seeing that the YouTube numbers are way down. So that revenue stream is gone, and people are not going to just start floating. You're losing your clientele. Now, yes, you're going to get some people to trickle over to Netflix that already got it. Oh, I'm going to go watch it, da-da-da. But now you're competing with a whole different entity of content. Over here, you were competing with similar content, doing the same thing you're doing. Over there, you got Bridgerton, you got the Queen, whatever. It's a lot going on over there that's going to distract these people, right? It's a lot of, Netflix dropping new movies every goddamn morning. Every damn morning, new show, new movie, this, that, and the third. So this not the same game. You're not in the same lane over there. They're going to be finishing half an episode. They're going to be doing 2/3 of the interview. They're not even going to be finishing because there's so much content over there. You're playing a really crazy game, but they got their bag. At the end of the day, this is what people are reacting to. You got your bag, but Just Hilarious came out sounding and looking miserable. You came out, you're still coming out sounding and looking miserable. Don't seem like y'all too happy with this bag that you guys obtained. You guys keep trying to downplay. It's like, yo, if you don't know the numbers of Netflix, then don't say that we're failing. Charlemagne saying that because he know Netflix don't announce their numbers. They don't tell nobody what the numbers are. They never do. Very rarely will we know the numbers. So that is a cop-out to say, you can't talk about this if you don't know the numbers on Netflix. He probably don't even know the numbers on Netflix at this point. So at the end of the day, it's too early to say what it is because all that stuff is being tabulated. And at the end of the day, he'd never say it out loud what it is because what he said at the end of that video, he said, if the thing doesn't work, we'll be the first to tell you. That don't sound like somebody that's very confident. He said, if this experiment don't work, I'll be the first to tell you. If that thing was going really good, like he trying to make it, we wouldn't even be talking about if it don't work. Why would it not work, Charlemagne? You sitting here trying to assume, you trying to insinuate that the numbers are good on your side. But he can say, if you don't know the Netflix numbers, then you can't say that the show is failing. He can say that because he know none of us will ever know those numbers because Netflix not going to tell you. But I can tell you based on the comments, a lot of people ain't going over there. And I can tell you based on the engagement, a lot of people don't care about these clips like that, like they nowhere near what they used to. And the clips on YouTube ain't doing that great. But I see y'all guys trying. You got the lady who said the N-word and this, that, and the third, and that clip going viral. You got the Rihanna story. Those stories are going viral. It's a 4-minute clip. Got 41,000 views, this, that, and the third. So the news clips, they're going viral. I guess you retain the right to put the news clips because that's part of the show. So your news clip's going to still do whatever. But at the end of the day, the show is more than the Breakfast Club. I mean, the Breakfast Club was more than the news clips. You had Donkey of the Day, this, that, and the third. Now, they said you retained Donkey of the Day, and that's cool. But Donkey of the Day ain't even getting the views it used to get. This Donkey of the Day was put up 6 hours ago. He got 15,000 views. They used to be way more than that. The engagement is down. So if it's down on YouTube, you think it's up on Netflix? If the Donkey of the Day is down on YouTube, you think it's up? Do you really think it's up on Netflix? Charlemagne wants us to believe some crazy stuff. But this is his thing. He got to get out in front of this because they can't. People smell blood in the water. Sharks smell blood in the water. People killing them right now. And what he's trying to do is make it seem like you guys are being premature. Now, let's imagine a scenario where it actually works, right? Imagine that the whole Breakfast Club experiment actually works. And more podcasts start going over to YouTube and they start making a whole home over there for people that are building brands, this, that, and the third, and it becomes a podcast haven, which is highly unlikely, but it could work. Then you're going to sit there and act like, oh, I told y'all, we the ones, we pioneered this, we the pilgrims, da, da, da. If it wasn't for us, he going to beat his chest and do this, that, and the third. But until then, we're here where it ain't looking that good. I don't see a lot of people, especially the audience that you attract, I don't see a lot of them floating over to Netflix paying $7.99, even with the commercials. So I don't see that happening. End of the day, I'm barely on Netflix as is. Barely. I watch so much stuff. I'm barely on it. I'm not going to waste time with a 3-4 hour podcast or whatever this, that, and the third. I'm not doing that. And my viewing habits going to be very, very shit. If I put it on, it'd be some background shit. End of the day. So my viewing habits are very, very slow on Netflix. Short is what I'm trying to say. I'm direct. I go in, bang, bang. The up shows, I'll watch that or some shit. Other than that, I don't know what, you know what I'm saying? It's really no reason to turn on Netflix. I got way too many shows I'm trying to catch up on than to go on there. So it's going to be real interesting to see. I think they'll give this probably, all right, put it like this. If this thing don't work in a year, it might be less than a year. If it don't work, it's going to be back on YouTube. But again, it could actually work, and he could be dancing and singing in the rain and saying, I told you so, blah, blah, blah. It's possible that this experiment may work if they keep bringing more podcasts over. iHeartMedia not going to pull out no stops. But the simple fact that they can't really post like they want, or it's going to get taken down and they got to fulfill contracts, this, that, and the third. They putting up the whole show, but who wants to watch people wasn't even watching the whole show that long when it was, you know what I'm saying? When they was able to put up all the content. So they putting up the old show as audio, right? So you can, if you really that pressed to hear the whole show, that been up though for years. They've been doing that for years, the full show. So they retain the audio, but ain't nobody really people watching that, but they not really watching it like that. So it's the whole channel. 6 million subs is really pulling in pennies compared to what they used to, and the people are getting nervous over there. Right now, yeah, everybody got their fat check, but they don't look happy. I told you, Jess looked like she kind of like frustrated and trying to figure things out. She just did that video in that coffee shop talking about we need our content, our engagement is whatever. She's speaking in code, but we understood the code very clearly. Charlemagne wants us to believe that everything is fine and hunky dory because he got that check. DJ Envy ain't saying much of nothing, and that damn little skit they did was absolutely horrible. They try to like make fun of it and lighten the situation, try to make it like, oh yeah, you guys don't know what's going on. Like, oh, they think that we're drowning. They try to. It wasn't funny whatsoever. Same thing they did when Jess Hilarious and Lauren LaRosa got into it. They made that little skit. The show is mine. This, that, and the third. I didn't like that either, but it is what it is. It's not about me liking it. It's about them thinking that was funny, and that's who it's for. It's for them and their audience. But I don't think that the skits are funny. I think they're a sign of desperation and a lot of things to come. We'll see what happens, but it feels like Charlemagne is really, really trying his best to make us believe something that it just don't look right. And he knows we can't tell what the numbers on Netflix are going to be. There's no way to gauge it. There's no comment section. There's no thumbs up. There's no likes, this, that, and the third. There's no way to gauge what it is, and we won't ever know until someone says it. So they could appear to be successful all they want. Charlemagne in that video don't look like a happy man that's mad successful. He looked like he's trying to breathe in, breathe out, and he looked like he's trying to cope with it and figure out a way to make us feel that they're not failing. Right now, it can't be strong. It cannot be strong. It's too soon. I can't believe that all these people just went over there and started. I don't believe it. I don't believe you got even half of 6 million people to just go over to Netflix, start watching it. I don't believe it. I haven't even been hearing about the interviews y'all doing. I only heard about two or three tops. So it ain't even a lot of stuff buzzing to make people even run over there. But we'll see, man. I mean, y'all had y'all foot on the culture. Y'all had the pulse of the culture. And now y'all going to be really out of this. Y'all going to be out of it. These little clips going to be okay, but then people got to go over to Netflix, and by the time they do all that, it's going to be difficult. I'm going to be honest. Now, we've seen it before. I told you how Howard Stern went to Pay for Play. He went to Sirius, and Howard Stern been on there about 20 years now. Okay, he keep renegotiating his contract. He makes millions, but it ain't that many Howard Sterns, gang. I'm just going to be honest. We've seen it before, but we don't know until we know, and that's actually still radio. That's not a video medium. That is radio, and they put a lot of stuff, let's be honest, on YouTube for free. So what we doing here? So we'll see what happens, but Charlemagne looks kind of nervous. It don't look like he feeling that this is going to really, it ain't going the way they thought. Okay, he keep trying to convince us and tell us all the shit we are watching on Netflix. Well, if we want to watch that, we gonna wait and see. But ain't nobody really tripping off that as far as I'm concerned. On Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, nobody's saying I'm going over there. Some people say I watch it, but it's like 10 to 1, 20 to 1. It ain't that many people that's jacking it. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. It feel like they made a mistake, and I don't even know how much choice they had in the matter. Just gonna be honest. So they had to roll with it, and they got to make the best of it. Jess had to make a whole new show her damn self. You know what I'm saying? Like now she got Jess's thoughts. She can't even do Jess with the mess no more. They don't even own their intellectual property no more because they sold it to the program, and the program got sold to Netflix. But we'll see, man. Listen, all you can do is wish them the best and see what happens, dog. That's it, man. I'm out of here, man. I'm going to catch you on the flip. Listen, get in the comments. Let me know what you think. CLBMG. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. Every Wednesday night, we go live on the What Show, me, TJ, and Fliz, talking about things of this nature. 9:15 to 9:30. We'll be on sooner or later around that time, all right? And we got a new video called This, That. It's a new music video off the project called The What Project. Lock in with that project. Let me know what you think in the comments. Put This, That, Charles Brown. Get in that bio. Hit that Temu link. Show your boys some love. Support the channel. All right, I'm out of here. I'm going to catch you on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. black-yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard and put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within, with the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin, with the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin, and then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking, and all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like Pats fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe and put some food in his face, and he'll kill for you, but I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here and we ain't the cheese, we the trap.